Hello YouTube, it's me Brittany, and today we're going to talk about politics, which is something I very rarely do, but with today being Inauguration Day, I just wanted to kind of go over just a few things, not being political or anything, not trying to make a stance or anything, just trying to just go over some facts. Anyways, before I do that, I want to thank every single one of you guys who've already subscribed. Thanks so much for being here. I love you all so much. If this is your first time watching, please hit that subscribe button below so you can watch all my other videos. I do lots of trans related things, lots of LGBT related things. I let you follow my life a lot. I do stand up comedy, so you can follow my shows if you want to do any of that. But you can't do any of those things if you don't hit subscribe. Now, really what I wanted to call this video was way too long of a title, so I don't really know exactly what everything I wanted to say. So like the original title was going to be what to expect for trans lives during a Biden administration, but we kind of just went down with like trans expectations for a Biden administration, you know, because just trying to break it down something nice and simple for a title. But reality, like I just kind of like wanted to kind of go over what we can expect over the next 4 years with a Biden administration as opposed to the past. So yeah, the first thing we can say is that we do have a president now who is acknowledging and actually very helpful and has a good history of being supportive of the LGBT community. So that's very positive on our part. Vice president has a very sketchy history, which we'll go over a little bit, but not too much of an issue. I think that we're going to get past that just fine with Biden in control. If that's how it really works, I don't. Government seems to be kind of out of control lately, anyways. No matter what. But anyways, so the first thing, let's go over. There's positive things like first thing that Biden says he's going to do in the first day or week or whatever he keeps saying is that he will reinstate all the protections that were under the Obama administration that Trump basically destroyed whenever he started in office 4 years ago, and those protections include bathroom protections for trans youth in schools and places like that, as well as protections for healthcare and health insurance discrimination for transgender people and other LGBT people as well. So for me specifically, when Trump went into office and rescinded all of these protections that Obama had put in, I saw a massive increase in my healthcare costs because all of these health insurance companies that I was, working with, or the one I was working with, and the one I've worked with 3 or 4 more since then, they basically no longer feel the need to cover transgender meds or anything like that because of the fact that this law says that they don't have to if they don't want to. So that's will hopefully maybe bring some of my costs, maybe some of your costs down for your meds or anything like that and surgeries. It'll also hopefully make surgery more accessible to Americans in America. Not that it's not accessible, but that it's for some of us, it's very difficult to find a surgeon who will perform a surgery with health insurance that won't cover that surgery. So some of us are looking for other countries to go get their surgeries done, specifically because of the fact that Trump destroyed any kind of progress we had in our health insurance coverages and discrimination and things that were happening before that, before 2016. We were building, and then it was just crumbled down, and then hopefully Biden says he's going to reinstate all of those protections, so therefore we'll hopefully see a change here in the next year or so, but because that's kind of how it took for Trump's effect, really kind of just drastically. I think my meds went from being like $50 a month to being like $250 a month, and so let's bring that down, please. Anyways, more on healthcare, which seems to be one of the biggest bonuses of a Biden administration, is that transgender healthcare is going to become more accessible, and we can see that growth and progression with the big news of him naming Dr. Rachel Levine, or appointing Dr. Rachel Levine as Assistant Health Secretary, who will become the first transgender woman or person to be appointed and Senate confirmed to a federal position like that. So that's huge plus for transgender people, as well as not only progressing us in society and putting us on the forefront of putting things together and saying that we're not just a minority and we're not just a sexual cult or whatever that we used to be thought of back in the 80s and the 70s and stuff like that. We're actually humans, and we can make you know, what's the word? We can basically contribute to society. And so I've looked into her. She's actually a wonderful, wonderful person. I think she's going to do great things. And I think for me specifically, that this will be one of the biggest things that help us expand our access to healthcare for transgender women of color, transgender men. All of us basically are going to hopefully in the next 4 years see access to the healthcare and the surgeries and the operations and the procedures and the doctors that we need be a lot more easier to access. The last major thing that I'm going to go over that's a positive that we should look into, is that Biden says that within the first 100 days of his administration, he will get Congress to sign and pass the Equality Act, and he will also sign and pass the Equality Act, which basically, if you don't know, now you know. Anyway, so if you don't know, many LGBT people are not fully protected under Title IX in all the states of the United States. In fact, transgender people only have worker protections and housing protections and medical protections and stuff like that in 18 states right at this point. So the Equality Act would basically eliminate that and basically say that all of those protections that are normal for all Title IX and anything else will be set across the country. So that's like, employment, that's adoption rights for some people who are, you know, same-sex couples or anything like that, or specifically myself, if I get married someday, I would love to be able to adopt, but hopefully this administration will make it easier for me to be able to adopt a child, because we know that Trump, just in the last like 5 to 6 months, has made it extremely difficult and made it legal for adoption agencies to fully discriminate against LGBT people and deny them a child, basically because they're LGBT. Another thing the Equality Act will do will help it make it easier for you to change your gender marker on your driver's license, change your gender on your birth certificate, change your name, and all those other things all become much more easier for you to do. We'll also eliminate the military ban, all those things which are stupid. Another really big thing that the Equality Act will do for LGBT people will provide homeless protections for LGBT youth and trans, specifically trans women of color who deal with a high rate of homelessness in their community. So lots of positive things to look into. The only real negative thing that I can think of is it doesn't even have to do with Biden. It really has to do with Kamala Harris, who has a really bad history of mistreating transgender prison inmates. And, we just kind of have to see how that's going to unfold. I really just don't see her having that much of an impact, at least not in this administration. Let's see what happens after this administration, if Biden continues to be president, or if he steps down and lets another Democrat run, and then maybe because of her position as vice president, she becomes the next presidential candidate. Then we need to start worrying about transgender prisoners and how they're going to be treated and affected in the future. But right now, I'm hoping that that's just something we can kind of let's see what happens, but anyways, I hope that you learned some things in this video. Some things maybe were helpful to you. Please don't forget to hit subscribe if you have not already. I remember, I love every single one of you guys. You can hit me up on Facebook, and Instagram at Brittany Rose, Twitter at Brittany Rose 2. Be safe out there, everybody. Happy Inauguration Day. Bye-bye.